We're going to talk about internet orders and how the Pimausa software allocates them. Right now we're on the list orders page, and that's the page that has every single sales transactions, whether it's processed over the counter through one of your stores, or if it's an online order, they will all be here in this list, and this can obviously be searched by date and by order status. Generally, the initial view here would be the orders that need to be processed. So this test store has 196 that need to be dealt with, so that's obviously quite non-standard and quite high. You'd normally be looking to work that list down to having it cleared basically and having all your internet orders for the day shipped. You might still have a few orders left in there if they're on lay-by or if they're on back order status. Back order just means that you've sold the customer the item, but you haven't physically received it in your store yet, so you haven't given it to the customer yet. So that's just a way of keeping track of those particular transactions. Now, online orders is what we want to talk about. So if you have one store, nice and straightforward, obviously the order gets allocated to your one store. If you have multiple stores, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, but the system handles everything for you. So if the item's in stock at any of your stores, it can be shipped with on an internet order. The system will try to allocate all the stock to one store. If it can't allocate all the stock to one store, then it will allocate the stock for each item. It'll allocate it to whichever store has the most stock. During quieter parts of the year, if your stores are located close together, you may be able to move the stock to one location and then ship it as one parcel to save a bit of money on freight. In some cases, it's actually cheaper to courier it from one store to the other and then ship the whole item. Again, this depends where it's going and the costs involved. For when you're processing high volumes and very, very busy, an example might be Christmas time. If your trade goes up quite a bit at Christmas, then you may have a policy that you just ship from the individual stores and you don't try to reconsolidate the orders. If we pop into the back end here onto setup and we look at our stores, so this is a test business that has 5 stores, so we can allocate the priority. So the priority kicks in if 2 stores have the same amount of stock. So say they each have 10 of an item and an internet order comes in for it, and it's between Manhattan and Brooklyn. How does the system decide which store to allocate it to? Well, it goes on the priority. So if it's tied, it will go to the highest priority store. That being said, if the order comes in for an item and Manhattan has 10 of the item and Brooklyn has 11 in stock, the system will allocate to the store that has the most stock. So in that case, Brooklyn will get it. And it does that so that all your stores kind of slowly come down in stock and nobody gets to a zero stock situation. So you still have the ability to sell all those items over the counter in all of your stores. And that's how the online prioritization of internet orders works. One last little bit, pretty standard for an online business, which you may or may not be familiar with. So the pending orders come onto this list orders page, and as you go into them, and once you ship it off, we're buying something. Actually, the first thing you do would be you'd scan the item with a barcode scanner. And if that barcode scan matches that barcode, this little red box here will disappear. I can simulate that like this. So this is a barcode scanner going in. We've got a nice beep, and there's our red box. So we definitely have the right item. We'll choose a shipping company. We'll put in a tracking number. And that can also be scanned in there, obviously, if the tracking ticket has a barcode, and then we'll update our order to shipped. And then when we look at our list orders page again, that order has been cleared and shipped. That's it. Thanks for listening.